Everyone knows that no one's perfect. The Bible says that all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Yet the law of the Bible requires perfection, which leads us to this ancient question: how shall a man be just or righteous with God? A poet once wrote, "Perfection is the measure of heaven, and the wish to be perfect the measure of man." That is so true. The Bible makes something very clear though. It's found in Romans chapter 3 verses 19 to 20. Paul says, "We know that whatever the law says, it says to those who are under the law, that every mouth may be stopped and all the world may become guilty before God. Therefore by the deeds of the law no flesh will be justified in his sight, for by the law is the knowledge of sin." In other words, we cannot become perfect by obedience to God's law, because all the law does in return is reveal our defects. Yes, we might get better at things as we get older, and as the saying goes, practice makes perfect. But often our pursuit of perfection will yield only momentary excellence. While we might be good at one thing, we'll often fall short on another, and perfection seems evasive. This is especially the case when we begin to look at the mirror of God's law. So if we, whom the scriptures describe as ungodly and guilty and worthy of death, cannot become righteous or perfect by doing good things, what did Jesus mean then when in Matthew 5:48 he said, "Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect"? This begs the question, how is that even possible? What we need to notice here is that the word perfect is an adjective, not a verb. If we read it as a verb, we'll think, "I must do." When we read it as an adjective, we'll think, "I must be." The perfect here is not primarily as describing an action, but a state of being. And it has always ever been the case that what you are determines what you do. This is what Jesus meant when he said, "Either make the tree good and its fruit good, or make the tree bad and its fruit bad, for the tree is known by its fruit." See, we just read verse 48, but context is important. Let's read it. "But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you, that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven." Similar to verse 48. "Even as your Father which is in heaven." See, his children are like him in nature. It is natural for them to do good to those who hate them. So when Jesus said, "Be ye perfect," he was speaking of a completeness of Christian character that is experienced only when the love of God flows through our souls. This perfection does not stem from works of obedience, but from the undeserved grace and mercy of God, which transforms our hearts.